Well, well, well. Hey guys, it's been a long, long time. Sorry about that. It's actually a big Parks in the Air weekend. I run a little international nonprofit called Parks in the Air on the side. We've got a big like event going on this weekend, but I already did the park, and on the way back, I found out they had a couple new Ardbegs that I was kind of hesitant even trying. So I thought, the last offering from last year, the Ardcore, just did not do it for me. Both the limited or the committee release, I was just kind of like, I just didn't get it. It seemed like a lot of new make. Maybe they were trying to test out a new make that they were thinking about releasing or something, but it for me it was not ready for prime time, and I just didn't get into that. So it is what it is. Hopefully, you guys are doing okay. I see StreamYard has changed some branding stuff on their site. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of that. Oh, there's the comments. I was like, where in the world are they hiding the comments now? Hey, Last Cause, good to see you, man. Oh, hi. Always good to see you, buddy. Long time no see for sure. What have you been drinking, man? I'm gonna warm up with something because I have not had anything, and we are gonna take a look at a couple new ones. We'll take a look at the new Ardbeg Heavy Vapors Limited, which just picked up, and I'll tell you why I'm kind of hesitant of even getting too excited. But we also got the committee release, which is a fun one too. This one, the committee is a whopping 50.2, I believe. May make the I'm not that old, and I can barely see this with really good glasses. 50.2% ABV on that one, and the other one I think is a 46 straight up because usually they're pretty good about remaining 46% on the limited. But I do like a little higher ABV, so typically we'll take a look at that. Donner Pass, good to see you, man. I was hoping I'd see some of the regulars that used to hang out with me. It's awesome. Wow. Octomore 13.2. I've got a buddy that's in Ohio that likes whiskey as much as I do, but he really gravitates towards the peaty whiskeys. I've tried to get him into some peaty sherry ones, which he does like the Lagavulin Distillers Edition. Really like the charred oak that they released, the 11 year. He likes stuff like that. So I was trying to think of what's the peatiest Scotch, since he loves Scotch so much with a lot of peat in it, and I can't think of anything better than the Octomore. I mean, last time I tried it was a while back. It's what was it, 7.1? Is that a seven? Let me see what this is. I think it's a 7.3. Yeah, I had a 7.3 as my own bottle. Really good back in the day, 169 ppm, I wanna say, 169. I know they have been as high as 270 something, I believe. They have not even gone up far higher than that. I'm not sure, but, I'm thinking of grabbing some Octomore for the next year meetup. Every year we have a radio meetup, and, we, like to do some Scotch or some Irish whiskey. He had a tree number 1 from that Middleton Dare Garlic he popped open, a tree number 1. I was, like, just gobsmacked. I've got a picture of it. I'll send it to anybody who wants to see it, but that was a damn good, bourbon cask style whiskey, that was Irish, triple distilled, but man, it was a damn good. That was a special treat. So I feel obligated to bring, like, a really nice couple bottles next year. So this one will be on my radar, definitely the Octomore series. 13, the point two. Now the point two is typically their experimental thing where the first series is a straight up nice, straight up heated, like the 7.1 back in the day. Then they had a 7.2, which is a French Syrah. My favorite Octomore I ever had was a 7.2. I'll never forget it. A friend named Generously Paul. He's used to be on Distiller. I don't see him much anymore, but he had that and got a sample, and man, that was the best Octomore. 7.3 was the one that was even a little bit more experimental, but they were doing some like durian fruit kind of stuff on that guy, and that was a little too funky for me. Even liking that kind of stuff with the peat, it just didn't jive for me. So I ended up giving half of my bottle to a buddy named Lee in Virginia back in the day. Traded it or did something, and I feel like I got a great deal out of it. So it all works out in the end. Oh, cool! You drink it along with me. I'll pop it here in a second. Let's go ahead and pour them. So while they're we'll go and pour them so they'll sit a little bit because they're probably not super aged by any means. I mean, typically these NASs are, they might have some 15-year-old stuff in them, but they're typically a mix of young and new whiskey. So I'll pop that one first, and then we'll do the committee. Pop that, and then we'll do the straight up new one that I want to see what if you guys have had it as a warm up dram and if you liked it or not. Let me get these poured first. Oh, helps if I actually take the cork out. I was excited to get the wrapping off, and I forgot to take the actual cork out. It's been a long week, as you can tell. So we got that poured out. Nice, really light in color. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's not necessarily a bad thing, because you don't want coloring in your whiskey. I want it to be natural, but I'm surprised at how light this one is. But I heard this one's more of a citrusy kind of a thing. I'm kind of intrigued because I do like Ardbeg when they do the citrus thing sometimes. Not a big lemon fan, but lime, I do like lime. So we'll see. Hopefully it's not like an NO too much, but we'll see what we get. They are big on the mint and the lime with the NO, I've noticed. And this is our committee version. And I will be sure to not mix these up. So I have this separated here. Sorry, getting y'all's face, but we can't mess this up. Especially after spending this kind of money on whiskey is absolutely insane. But the things we do for the hobbies we have, oh my lord. Okay. Thanks so much for hanging with me, guys, while I get prepared here. Now, let's pour our warm up dram. I was going to start off with this, guys. Have you guys already had the Localia? This is a newer one. This is a first release. This one is particularly matured in first fill bourbon and Pedro Jimenez PX casks. No chill filtered, no colored added. That's magic to my ears. First release, though, we're talking about really young whiskey. As you can tell, I've dabbled. I'm not going to give my take on it just yet. I want to see what you guys think first before I even go there. Let me go back up to. I'm catching up with the comments. Coffee right now, 10:30 on the West Coast. I completely understand, man. I just wanted to get things rolling. I was like, it's 1:30 here on the East. It's late enough to have a few drams, I think. Love the design of the HVCR, the heavy vapors, the the CR bottle. That's the regular. Um, I assume you're talking about the design of the front. Yeah, it's really cool that the way they did the. It kind of reminds me. I'm not sure if there's any Yes fans out there, but I'm a huge fan of the album called Relayer, and the artwork reminds me of Roger Dean is one of my favorite artists. He does all of Yes's old school. He does new school album covers too, and this kind of has that really cool Relayer vibe to it. I like it. One thing Ardbeg does do well is their marketing. I'll give them credit for that. Yeah, the label. Oh, Muser is on too. Cool. I'll have to say hi to. I didn't even see him pop on the thing. Maybe he's like lurking. Well, good to see Whiskey Nose and Malt Muser if you're on as well, man. It's been a long time, so I appreciate it. Hopefully he is on, so I can say a big hi. The 13.2 is Bodega cast recommended to them by the Bodega themselves. That sounds damn good, man. There's nothing better than the perfect marriage of peat and sherry to me. I mean, I can appreciate just a straight up peated whiskey to an extent, but my sweet spot is peat with sherry or just sherry. Don't usually like my peats just straightforward. This is why a lot of you guys love that local barley, and I do appreciate it. I could definitely taste the value in it, but it's not my go-to cup of tea every time. But I was lucky enough to grab one of those local barleys. God, it's been a while, but delicious as usual. Yes, they need to realize people who buy these bottles are old and need large print, have to bring reading glasses, flashlight, magnifying glass to go whiskey shopping these days. I guess it's showing our age. I'm not sure if you're in your late 40s like me, but yeah, it's and we're like the younger probably of the I saw Dustin's here as well. Good, it's great to see you, man. I'm live with Ken. Oh, okay. I didn't know you were already doing a live, man. I don't know if you guys just started or have been going for a while. If you guys just started, maybe I could delay or something. I don't mind, or we could join forces in a little bit if you feel up to it. I can talk to you about that Middleton Derrick Gerlich, I think that's how you say it. Had tree number one. Unbelievable, unbelievable, and I was actually in Grove City, which is probably not too far from you. If I wasn't doing the work thing, I would have definitely hooked you up, man. I was that close to being like, "I got a buddy named Dustin. I think he'd really appreciate this," but I didn't wanna be too pushy with the I mean, I've been on with the guy, several times over the air, but only a couple times in person, so it was kind of a tough one to get in the middle of there. Heavy Vapors is one of the one-time distilling, and it's about 11 year old, per recent Whiskey Cast interview with Dr. Lumps. Okay. Huh, that's cool. 11's not as old as I'd like times, the 15, 18 stuff is, but you're talking with Pete. Sometimes old Pete is not as good as new, depending on what you're working with and the reasoning and all that. So, and the cask and blah, blah, blah. Ken is who I usually have coffee with. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you guys know each other too. That's funny. It's such a it's a wide open hobby with a lot of close knit people in it, even though it's international. Have not had locally yet. Yeah, it's interesting. Let me get another glass. I thought I already had one ready. I've got two pours of that Ardbeg stuff. Let's get another glass here. I'll just get a side one. Let's see. Got the old classic Scotch for Dummies glass. Can't go wrong there. All right, let's try a pour of it. It's been a bit. Like I said, this is matured in first fill bourbon and PX casks. Surprisingly, non-chill filtered, no coloring. 46% ABV. So I mean, it's got a decent ABV. Let's see what we get for our little warm up, though. And I'm gonna start neat, of course, and see what we get out of this little warm up thing. And yeah, I've been burned so much by the Ardbegs. I mean, that Ardcore was such a disaster for me. And with the iffiness of the scorch, I mean, it was great for me the first like initial tasting, but it didn't last very long. And the black before that was really one of those controversial drams where half the people I noticed, like myself and Muser, liked it to it a bit, but other people like Stephen Connor and Dustin, I think, were not as big of fans as that one either. So, as you could tell, Ardbeg's had a really scratchy, weird track record lately, and this is like their last chance. If this doesn't wow me, which I'm not sure if it's going to, especially for the price that they're charging, I might have to skip future Ardbeg collecting official releases. But if anyone's had the Bizarre Barbecue or the Hypernova, let me know. It's non-existent where I'm at, and these guys are usually good about getting stuff. So if you've had it, let me know if it's worth the try. Not sure if it's even worth trying to get the Bizarre Barbecue or the Hypernova, but the Hypernova is probably up my alley because I do like the Supernova, and we'll talk about that later. But anyway, but yeah, let's have a little dram of the locally if you've got it. I cracked the new local barley with it. Ooh, nice, nice. That artist had a show where I lived that he talked about the new James Cameron ripped off his album work for Avatar and did not pay royalties. Wow, that is crazy, man. To rip off like Roger Dean stuff. That's not cool. Not cool at all. Ardcore was a bit too bitter. Yeah, I hear you there. So many newish distilleries in Scotland and England have tried a few good for so far. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. One thing that I can do if I remember how to do this, and I'll show you guys what I've been up to lately. Uh, Let me see if I can share my screen, and that way we can kind of take a look together of what I've put together, and you can see you'll see my crazy obsession with some of this stuff. So let me go present, share screen. Okay. Um, Entire screen, and we'll do the top one there. I think this will work. Yeah, cool. Now this is actually not the best resolution, so let's switch this up. Let me cancel that. Stop the screen. Let me move this to a better resolution so you guys don't have to squint and all that insanity. Sorry about that. Let's try that again. So let's present, share, and we'll do the entire one, but we'll do this guy. I think the resolution will be a bit better here, and I can make it even bigger where you guys can see. I think to this level is pretty good. I don't have to keep all this as big. So let me make, there we go. This will make more sense to you guys, I think. So basically, what I did was I put all the Scotch distilleries in one big fat, good old fashioned spreadsheet. I'm a huge fan of spreadsheets because I'm obsessive compulsive and I like to track things, as you can tell, and all that good stuff. So I've expanded. I've pretty much hit all the easy to get official distillery, options. So now I'm starting to get into independent bottlings and trying to track those if I can. If it's blue, it's one of those that just aren't ready for prime time yet. Eberargia or Eberargi, I'm not sure which one it is. Probably RG. It's usually a soft G like the Glenmorangie, I'm sure. Eberargi is a new lowland distillery, and I even put the dates that they're founded here and all that. So take a look down. If it's something I've had and I liked, and it's kind of pretty much the best distillery option, I put it here. If there's an independent bottling, I'm going to put it here if I can find it, or grab something. But the Avondurg, that one was horrible. I would not even recommend anything from these guys just yet. That's why I was big yellow on those guys. But as you could tell, some of these I've had some of the newer ones like Elsa Bay and Adele. I need to get my hands on that one, but that's a new Man of Words sherry option that they've got. I've heard good things about, but I've never tried it. Um, yeah, Ardbeg, the they don't do independent bottlings that often. I've seen a Chieftains, which I've seen some here, but the good ones are really usually crazy high price that are out there. I can't afford the 25, so that might be later date. I have had a 23, 20 something before, um, but not my own bottle, so I'm not going to count that just yet. So we'll just stick with the 19-year first batch for now until we can ever afford one of those that are 20 somethings or the 25. And that bottle's so expensive, I don't know if I'll ever be able to go down that road. We'll see. Maybe if I get a raise someday, or if I get to ever retire, we'll see. But yeah, there's some good tracking here, um, of different things. But as I go, I'm going to note them in here. And if you guys ever find like a really super independent bottling that you really like, please let me know and I'll pop it in here just for reference so I can hopefully grab one. At the bottom here, I've also started some old school closed distilleries that you cannot find anymore. Like Adelphi doesn't have a distillery bottling anymore. They were demolished back in the, looks like '07 and again in 70. I guess that's when it was torn down. It was actually closed in '07 and finally taken away in 70. Same with this Auchenblay, I guess, 1930. So I try to track when these guys were around and when they stopped producing. The cool thing is on the side, and I used to have an SMWS membership. I haven't done it in a while since they charge a lot for shipping. But I do have the codes I popped in here for all the distilleries, if they have one. Thankfully, a lot of these guys do already have one. Like Aaron is 121, Othroska is 95. You've got, Blah Blair 70, etc. So I do have all those in here as well. And I might try to get one of those on the side if I can, if the independent bottling opportunity is not really easy accessible. But we'll that's a whole nother thing. But just something on the side that I've been kind of dabbling in on the side with these new distilleries that you guys were talking about. Nothing about the Heavy Vapors release speaks out. This will be amazing. It is all about the comparison to the 12 and understanding the purifier. When you say the 12, are you talking about the Ardbeg 10 or which 12 are you comparing it to? 10, yeah. No, I had a feeling. I was like, yeah, hopefully it blows the 10 out of the water. I mean, for $55 compared it to it's like 140 and 180, 120 and 180. So some crazy prices on both of the limited and the committee releases. If you attend Whiskey Fest New York, you could probably try all of those. Oh wow. I haven't been to the Whiskey Fest since what was it, 2017? 2018, 2017, the last 2 years I went. I've been to the one in New York and been to the one in DC. Uh, it's fun. You got to know what you're doing with those. Lots of mini drams, lots of water. You got to know to start with don't do your peat till the end and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, they're fun if you plan accordingly. That's for sure. Hearing good things about the Lindoras. I have heard about the Abbey. Yeah, they've had some high ABV releases. The crew cast, they got a bourbon, a sherry, but an STR. That's the stave tard. No, stave tar. I used to remember what it stood for, but yeah, real extra charred barrels for what I remember. Standard bottle is 46% blend of all three. Wow, typically a Jim Swan style. That sounds really good, actually. I'll have to try that deal. This 11-year local barley is really fantastic. Damn. Yeah, I was lucky to find. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I have that bottle handy. Give me 1 second. That's. I'll be right back. It might be the same one you've got. Yeah, sorry about that. This is a newer bottle that I was lucky enough to pick up not terribly long ago. So this is a newer deal, but let's see. I like to keep these boxes in halfway decent shape, unless in case I ever want to try to get rid of an empty for some reason, which I don't think I'll ever do. But this one was barley sourced from Glen Craig's farm, and the barley type is Belgravia. Distilled in May of 2011, bottled in December of 2021. Number of bottles was 15,000, matured in oak casks. This was a 10-year. I don't know if this is probably not the same one that you had. I think you said you had 11, didn't you? New 11. No, that must be the one after this guy. Then, yeah, this one was one I picked up recently. I'm surprised they still had it. I mean, and it wasn't crazy expensive, surprising like a lot of these guys asked for. I must have got really lucky on the find because these don't. This is my second bottle of the local barley that I've ever had. My first bottle was a really one of the first ones that I remember them releasing, or one of the first ones. 16 year, I think, or was it 11? No, might have been 16. I want to say if they didn't they have a 16-year at some point. I have to go back. I've got another room. I keep all some old empty stuff, but not too bad on that deal. 2021. Let's see. Shaved, toasted, and recharred. That's what it was. The toasted is the part I was. It's a tough to remember. Shaved, toasted, recharred. The local bar 11 was good. I'm gonna have to revisit. Of all the 10 years, yeah. The last 10 was nice, but it was all ex-bourbon. That's the one this was all ex-bourbon. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but the 16-year was the first of the modern releases. Yeah, that was that's crazy. I'm not surprised because it was a great like bottle, but wow, man. Hey, it's Swami. Good to see you, man. Wow, it's been a long time. They had a 16 a while back, 2016, 10-year. Yeah, I remember that one. Right after that was like the second offering, if I remember. Because I was so surprised they had a 16-year, and they came all the way down to like 9 and 10 and 11. I'm like, I guess all the good stuff was gone. You guys are a trip. All right, let's have some whiskey. I've been talking way too much, and okay, got to figure out where I poured what and all that. So this is the locally, not a high frills deal, but I mean, it's a nice, it's a nice presentation. It is brand new, so we're talking 3, 4 years max. I have a feeling, maybe 5, but color is, no chill filtering, no coloring, so it is legit. But it's with the sherry and the, it's PX, so trying to think. You get more coloring, if I remember correctly, from your Olorosos than your PX, or does it really matter the type of sherry when it comes to natural color? You guys would know that. Let me know if you know uh, which way. The new 11 is 55 sherry. Ooh, Oh, that sounds so good. If 10% rum? Oh, now you're killing me, man. That's the perfect thing for me. As I'm more of a sherry head than a bourbon head. And with that rum, 'cause I do love some rum. Oh, do you have any samples? Oh man. I'll probably have to, not that I would kill anybody, but I probably would have to kill somebody to find some of that stuff somewhere. That's crazy. Oh, do you have a big country plan this year? Oh, on the bike. Yeah, are you still riding, Swami? Are you ever gonna do Route 66 again sometime, hopefully? Yeah, not much on the legs and stuff, but I'm not surprised. I mean, it holds its shape fairly well, but hmm, you definitely get that new, almost like a green banana plantain kind of new make thing going on. But it's not horrible. Just not much on the nose for me. Got some nice fruits in there, but it's like a it's like stone fruit, like in roses. It's a floral. It's definitely got your floral, but it's also got some little citrus thing going on in there. It's very light. It's definitely more heavier on the roses and the those kind of fragrant floral notes than like citrus or fruity notes. Not usually my cup of tea. This reminds me of like a Glenkinchie. If you've ever had a Glenkinchie, hmm. Let's see. Much better on the palate than the nose. Love the ABV being 46. I think it is for a brand new release. I mean, that's the thing. Uh, nice delivery. Nice price. I think it's about 60, 70 bucks, but it's got some nice spicy notes on the palate. Got some nutmeg, cinnamon. I do get the sweetness from the PX cask in there, which is nice. A little medium brown sugar, but not much. It's the finish is very short. I'd say on the shorter end. The initial palate though is pretty good. I wish the nose was better, but for a new whiskey, it's not not too horrible. Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. Nice. Gonna try to get another limit one bottle tomorrow. I thought you'd given up the old whiskey there, Swami. You back on the fence? Oh, hope they get the fires out of Nova Scotia. Yeah, for real. It's crazy how long it's been going on up there. Cabot Trail. It's a bit over retail. They don't market it, and they have a lot. Huh. Has anyone else had the Localia? Just curious. It's the first release. Warming up with that. 46%, no chill, no color, PX, first fill bourbon. It's actually pretty good on the palate, but other than that, I would probably use it for mixing something. If I was doing a Rob Roy or a, I don't know, I don't do mixed drinks, but I might give it to my wife for making a Manhattan or something. Oh, nice. Bourbon Flight. Wow, it's been a while since I've had straight up bourbon. Probably the Elijah Craig, one of those. Trying to think, six something, A or B. I forgot the code on it, but that was a pretty good. That was pretty good bourbon, I have to say. But I'm sure it wasn't one of those you could just run into Kentucky and get anytime you want either. Like the final lot. Yeah, a lot can be several different things to different people. 3 to 6 cases. Wow, that is a lot. Wow. Yeah, I wish the finish was better. Wish the nose was better. Got a above average palate. That's what's weird about this whiskey. So the nose, gosh, like C minus, C minus D plus kind of nose. Not my favorite. Palate though, especially that initial palate, is actually pretty good. I give it a B plus on palate, but finish, we're back down to we went from like a C minus to a B plus to a C. So I mean, it's not a bad dram by any means. I'm pretty harsh when it comes to this stuff because I'm pretty damn picky. Um, but with it being a brand new distillery and what their first release is, room for improvement, yes. But when you already have a really good initial palate, and all you got to do is work on your nose and finish, it might not be that bad to do, especially with the little age. Once it got a 10 or 16 year, I mean, hell, it could have a great finish in nose by then, hopefully. I mean, I'm thinking this is like 3 or 4 years max. I don't see it being a 5, 6 year, but I could be wrong. Could be a 5, 6 year. If it is, I'm not completely surprised because the palate is that good for a 5 or 6 year. But other than that, that's all I'm really getting. But I do love that palate though. If you like a brown sugary with a hint of the orange and the cinnamon, nutmeggy, not too shabby, but yes, that's a lot. Special charity bottle. Oh, versus a 5 year with heirloom yellow corn versus a 5 year with heirloom blue corn. Sheesh, man. These are new refs, a special charity bottle. Cool. Okay. Let us know what you think on those. In the meantime, I'll have a little cleanser. And then we're going to tack the first Ardbeg bottle and see what we get. But not a bad warm up bottle, the locally ideal. Um, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm not going to run out and buy another bottle of the same stuff, but I'm definitely intrigued to see what they do with another, 6 to 8 years. And Lindorus Abbey, I'll have to check out those guys out. Thank the recon on that. Whoever told me about the Lindorus Abbey bottles being doing pretty well. There's been a lot of distilleries lately that have been popping up everywhere. I've noticed. From you could tell from my spreadsheet I showed you guys earlier. There's a lot. It's crazy. 2009, 2008, 2014, 2019, 2017. I mean, that's just the first in the A's. There's a lot of new distilleries. It's crazy. Might be good for whiskey in general though. For Scotch, hopefully, it's I'm not sure about you guys, but it's been hard as hell to try to find basic bottles over here. Just like found like the last Lagavulin Distillers Edition at this one place. Found the last Talisker Distillers Edition at one place. Found it's always the last bottle, and the bottles are not really all that like fantastic or anything special. That's what's killing me. And I was at Petite Cellars, which usually has good prices. For the Blendronic 18, they were asking. They used to have it for 180. Now it's like 230. And they used to have the Parliament, the 21 for 280. Now it's like some astronomically high amount, like 350, 375, or some shit. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. There's no way, especially when they changed it to have chill filtration. I mean, it's like you're going to do less craft work and make the whiskey worse, but you're going to charge more for it because it's so rare. That's crazy to me. They had the Coswold's basic release, $40. Wow. Very nice English whiskey. Cool. I think I've heard of those guys at some point. Mike and I have had Elements of Isla Ardbeg coming out, but it's pretty dang good. Far better than anything Ardbeg releases anymore. What was if there was any age statement on it? Did it have an age statement? I ran into a couple of Elements of Isla. They just started exporting to the U.S. And Petite Cellars had a couple bottles. I don't think they had a Ardbeg. They had a Kalila and something else. Um, but I'm wondering if you know might be worth a try. Didn't seem like they were crazy expensive either, but they had a lot of Caden heads, which you can't really go wrong with those. And they had even had an Eldefi Mortlock bottle that wasn't cheap, but if you're going to get a Mortlock, get an Eldelphi version. You don't see Distilleries editions anymore. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I know Kalila re-released theirs not too long ago, but that's like the only one next to maybe a Dalwhinnie. Trying to think of any of the other ones I've seen. You don't? Yeah, you're right. It was an NAS from me a few years ago. Okay, that's what I figured. The Isla Ardbeg thing. See, that's the thing. Dustin appreciates. I think this is why you liked it. You appreciate a young peat because sometimes peat can get tired depending on the cask used. I mean, there's always great old peated whiskey too, but sometimes you get a really good vibe from a newer bottle that's peated too. I do realize that, so that's probably why that one stood out to you guys. It's risky with Ardbegs being as young as they are with independent bottling sometimes, but they do have good peat. So many newish distilleries all over the world had Jim Swan helped them get started. They are all unique, but he taught them to make good quality spirit that will taste good at 3 years. So thank goodness. Someone sent us a sample pack with some crazy hitters. Huh. No, it had a exceedingly good stately PX sherry cask and I think some old Ardbeg in it. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, that definitely will help a ton. And I love Ardbeg with any type of sherry I can get. So I will definitely keep an eye out for the Elements of Isla Ardbeg independent bottling edition if we can find it. Just want to also set them up with some first fill bourbon. Yeah. First fill cherry butts and first fill STR French red wine cask. Well, hey, it's good to see you, man. Welsh in the house. If I remember correctly, you are in Britain, in probably England, if I had to remember correctly. How you been doing, man? Have you already had Welsh? Have you tried this one yet? What was your take? I already said mine. I don't want to influence your take. I want to see if you've had the locally and what you thought of it, good or bad, indifferent. And while you're doing that, I am going to start with the. Should we start Distillers Edition and come back because of quality detection? Or should we be worried about the ABV and start off with the lower 46 and then go to the 50? The 50 something is not that much higher. It's only a 4% difference, surprisingly. And this is where they've kind of screwed up a little bit, in my opinion, on some of these committee releases. They used to be 57, 55% ABV typically, and still 46, 48 max on the limited. But now they've been creeping their committees down to almost match their limiteds by only a 4% difference. To me, that's crazy. But what are you going to do? Yeah, they want to allow. That's one thing that I do not like as much about, even though I do appreciate a good looking box, just like anybody else. But it's not the most important thing by any aspect. And I wish they would take all the effort they do to make all these pretty boxes to put it inside the whiskey. Because I'm just like, I'd much rather have an Ardbeg box with the great whiskey in it than a fancier box with the worst whiskey in it. So keep that in mind. I think we're going to start with CR and go there. You know me, Sherry Bombs last, then high proof, then low ABV. Yeah. Sherry bombs always last. I like the sherry bombs, man. That's funny. So much new whiskey hitting the shelves, not had it yet. Yeah, isn't that weird how much new whiskey's hitting the shelves? But this one, has anybody had this already? And what was your take? I'm gonna start off with the CR because I want to detect that quality and start there first and then work my way to see how less I get from the limited version. I'm thinking that might be the way to go. If you guys think otherwise, let me know before I dig in too deep. But I think let's start committee and work our way back. I mean, this is no coloring, no chill filtration. So I do appreciate Ardbeg for keeping it real. And this is one of the lighter whiskeys that I've seen from Ardbeg. Uh, not to say not good. Ooh, love sherry bombs, but they make it hard to taste whiskey after them. Good point. That is a good point. Whiskey, the sherry bombs, but heavy peats, man, are like that too. I'm not. See, to me, peat and heavy sherry is about almost the same kind of harsh degree to a point, but it depends, I guess, on how much we're talking. Like first fill, crazy, I don't know, punchy on Oloroso, that would be too much. Yeah, in your face, you wouldn't be able to taste hardly anything. Like a really good 21-year-old Edgedower kind of thing, but or a newer one, even a 10-year. But yeah, this is definitely not it. This is definitely if there's any shariness, I would be extremely surprised. I don't want to read the notes. I just want to see if that's one thing Ardbeg is not good at. They're good at telling you stories, but they're not good at telling you what's in the box. So let's try. Now, one thing I've kind of been not really all that happy with is Distiller has been trying to charge a bunch of money for their stuff, and they've changed the way they do their reviews and stuff. And I'm not about to spend money on trying to do reviews for other people. So let's see if we get anything better from a casting from these guys. 'Cause sometimes they're good about giving you information. Let's start off with the CR. All right. Heavy Vapors is the 2023 release to celebrate Ardbeg Day, held annually in the Isle of Festival Music and Malt, which is Feshiel for you guys that don't know. This is crafted by Dr. Bill Lumstead, which is the guy that does it for Ardbeg. Single malt whiskey is made from the use of a purifier, a part of the still which gives Ardbeg a balance of fruit and smoke. The slack of the purifier allows the heaviest vapors to rise during the distillation process. This particular bottling is released for the brand's committee members. Bottled at slightly higher proof of 50.2. The other limited release is 46, the same name. And the retail on this is 160, and I think he was selling it for closer to 180, but I can't really blame him for that. And I think the basic version is still like 120, which is crazy. It used to be like you could get the LR for like $100 and the CR for 120 to 130, and now they've added $40 to both of them. But this is across the board in all Scotch. It seems like the prices are just getting out of controls, way out of control in that one. Yeah, yeah. The big bombs like Tamdu, Debilia Dram, with all that crazy. Yeah, the store should be paying us. Honestly, they really should. That's why I don't even hardly do reviews on there anymore. I'm just gonna start doing the basic video from time to time. One of the new ones I'm looking forward to is Spirit of Yorkshire. Ah, full full dirt to glass. That's funny. Hey, Loch Ness, good to see you, and whiskey friends. Yes, Loch Ness always welcome. It's good to see you. What, have you, Loch Ness? Have you already had the locally? I'm curious if you've had it. If you had the first release, the PX slash First Fill Bourbon, 46%, no chill, no color. If you've had that one, what'd you think of it? All right, back to the heavy vapor. It's been sitting out for a bit, and that's true. Yeah, very true. The Abuna will definitely blow your palate. I think more than a Springbank 15, but ABV is a pretty big deal there. Interesting nose. We're starting off with the CR heavy vapors. No, I do like the nose off the bat because it's different than other Ardbegs I've had. And the first note I got, which was kind of like, huh? But it's actually good. It's an orange creamsicle of all things. It's like a creamy, orangey, buttery note. That was the first thing when I went in with, along with the peat, of course, and the smoke, but with along with that signature, Ardbeg peat smoke level. And this is more milder than I thought it was going to be, being heavy vapors, but it's a nose thing. Nose is different than palate a lot of the time. I'm getting some really nice cream, buttery oranges, sugar cookies, things like that from the get go. Hmm. Not terribly florally, more spicy on the nose, like a cedary, sandalwood kind of ginger snappy kind of a nose. I like that. I've had the 15, but not recently. No, they've really turned up the sherry good. Because I was wondering how they were charging so much for that bottle. Because when I had the 15 and the 18, the 15, I think was the one I was surprised by not liking as much as the 10, maybe. But this was the old 15. Maybe the new 15 is a lot better. And if that's the case, I'll definitely keep an eye out for it. But around here, you never see a springbank in the wild. It's almost like seeing a damn unicorn. No joke. Okay. There there is a heavier smoke to this, but it's not what I expected it to be. I was thinking it was going to be more like a Corey Vrecken Ugadal kind of smoke. This is a different type of smoke, though. This is like a more grayish, middle, not heavy, dark smoke. This is a real nice, though, medium level, ashy kind of a smoke. It's hard to describe, but it's funny. I do get more things as I'm going back to the CR, which is actually a good sign. Now I'm getting more of a campfire, beachy, citrusy fruit note. That's not bad. It's kind of subtle though. It's not as heavy as I thought it was going to be. It's not a Well, I got a little of my mustache there. That's not a good. That's I get the nose is getting so intense that I'm dusting off the old mustache with the pee here. I can't get over how that swirly gray smoke is still going on. The 15s are dark these days. I definitely have to keep an eye out for this. The last three releases have been really dark. The last 15 I opened was a 2020 had stashed away when you could get them for cheap. Yeah. Now the 10 costs a little more. Isn't that weird? It's been a retailer in Wales. His grandfather was Campbelltown, so he allocation a lot. Sells only to locals, and it's very local. Oh man, damn. I'm not surprised, man. The Welsh, yeah, they take care of their own. Hope that means you can get them for a fair price. Good luck with that one, man. All right, let's have a. I've been really having fun with the nose on this, but let's see what we get on the palate. It's not a heavily complex nose, but it's not a dead simple nose. It's a nice intriguing nose on the CR, but more subtle than I expected. Let's see about the palate. This is neat. It's only 50 point something, 50.2. Oh wow. Okay. 50.2. Yeah. Okay. That is different, but not in a bad way. Wow. Okay. Huh. Okay. Let me try one more time. Definitely get some smoke, but it's still that real nice gray ashy kind of a smoke. Really nice peat, smoky, what you expect from Ardbeg. But wow, the citrus comes in on the palate. You got your oranges, limes, tangerine kind of nectarine kind of vibe, maybe a peach. Very fruit, but not your. There's no plums, no cherry. There might be a cherry, but we're talking light cherry. No like currant, dark currant, none of that. Black cherry, none of that. No chocolate even, but there's a nice creamy creme brulee, smoky mixed with that with the fruit, but the fruit doesn't last on the finish. The finish is more of a nice mouth coat. Is it waxy or oily? That's where I'm kind of. It's a medium mouth coat as far as feel, but it has a really nice coating on that finish. But like I said, the fruit doesn't stay. The fruit's like initial palate, bam, in your face, but then it kind of grifts over to that real smoky gray, ashy mix with that. I'm trying to detect if there's any mint in this or not. Maybe it almost has like a not as intense as York peppermint patty type of thing, but maybe a real subtle peppermint end, but way towards the end of the finish. But it's really subtle. It's funny because it's not a weak whiskey. It's got some really nice coating texture with it. I think it's more oily than waxy, but man, it's a hell of a lot better than the hardcore. I'll go ahead and say that right now. Thank you, Jesus, for as much money that I paid for that art. I mean, thankfully, I did not overpay for the hardcore. I got both bottles for way under what they were trying to resell them, and they're still trying to resell that junk. I've seen people try to sell the hardcore, both the committee and the limited here locally, all over the place. Every freaking store has got it for like $100, $120 even today. But some places try to get 350 for it. I'm like, there is no way in hell anyone in the right mind is going to spend that kind of money, and unless you're going for the old Ardbeg or the Ardbeg or the one of those pre Perpetuum. Dark Cove is like the last great release, I think. Kelpie and Dark Cove are probably the latest greatest releases from those guys. And ever since I'm kind of trying to get back to that level. This is not there, I don't think yet, but this is better definitely than the freaking hardcore. Is it as good as the Scorch? It's in that level, I think. Is it as good as the older ones? I can't say that because the finish is there, but unless you really like a really medium level gray, white, ashy smoke, I don't know. It's a tough one. I do like the nose a lot better on this one. Not locally, yeah, that's for damn sure. So the nose, I really like it. I mean, it's an A minus. It's definitely up there. Really nice palette. Same kind of thing. I think we're talking B plus A minus. For 50%, it's really easy to drink, as you can already tell. I've been going back for this. The smoke in the fruit is growing on me the more I have it. So, is there anything else that Ardbeg makes us like this? Not really. The only thing that even reminiscently even almost touched it was maybe the Aravertis at a very lower ABV. If you could think of the Aravertis jacked up without the chocolatey notes, I think that's kind of where we're sitting because it had the same kind of fruit, if I remember correctly. It just didn't have this one. Just doesn't have the chocolate. It's replacing chocolate for like a gray, smoky, ashy tray deal. Um, not bad. Not killing it, but not bad. It's one of these fun deals, dude. Let me catch up with you guys. Sorry. Oh wow, you guys are fast on the old comments sometimes. A 25 today for 1,300. Is that the Springbank? My goodness, man. I would kill to have a bottle of that though. Yeah, even for Welsh, she's not local enough. This will be the first year in a while I won't get one. Oh, a 25? Yeah. He wants it for the new packaging. Yeah, good luck trying to get this guy to sometimes you do have to get on your knees. I swear I still see hardcore. Dude, I just the place I just got this from had 6 bottles of each. They had 6 of the committee and 6 of the limited, and they were trying to charge some, 200-300 bucks for them. I'm like, you guys will never sell these. Because even the guy that I know at PT, he's like, they get horrible reviews. And I wasn't horrible in my review, but I remember I was like, this is like a 3 out of 5, even for the committee, and that's like being very, very generous. Because compared to the other releases, I'd give it an absolute F. But as a whiskey, it's a decent average whiskey, but it's certainly not any even remotely worth anything above $100 by any means, not in shape or form. Heavy Vapors had a lot of mediocre reviews. The price sucks. Yes, I will agree. The price is way too high for what you're getting. Committee though, yeah, I will admit I'm a Ardbeg fanboy, and I do give him bumps on some stuff as far as like I rate the black probably a little higher than most would, but it's a tough one. Everyone has liked it, but it felt like it was basically on par with the 10. The Heavy Vapors from the 10. I will tell you this committee release of this Heavy Vapors versus the 10, I would much rather have this every day better because I am not a big fan of the lemon lime combo on the regular 10. Now, if you really like the lemon lime combo on the 10, then you probably won't think it's a huge difference. Which doesn't make you want to spend big money on. That's very, very true. Seems like in the UK, yeah, yeah, Kilkerran 16 I saw at the store up recently, but they were wanting like $100 for it. I was like, I remember that stuff was like $60. What's happened? Yeah, 100 for the 10? What? Hold on. You guys have an MSRP for the Ardbeg 10 for 100? It's like $55 here, guys. What's wrong with you? That's crazy. Unless you're talking about the something else. It's like literally 55 to $60 here all the time in Maryland. Even the NO I think is 70-75 at the top. The communities aren't even selling at retail anymore. It take a long time to move. Yeah, it's really weird. The CT community, what's the CT? CT sold out shortly before opening every. Oh, the committee release sold out shortly after. Yeah, it's gone in 2 days. Wow. Thankfully, around Maryland, you can find the stuff pretty easy. Oh, the Springbank 10. That's a whole different story. That one is $100. Yeah, pretty much. I remember it was 75 in 2016. It was about $75, but now it's $100 for the damn 10 year. That to me is crazy, but it's great quality, great craftsmanship. They do their own balloting. It's hard to argue with that. It's a hell of a lot better. It's a hell of a lot more worth 100 for the Springbank 10 than the prices McKellen was charged. I will agree with you there. No one's going to argue with us on that, I'm sure. Cheers, guys. To stay here for the chorus, but this is once the computer for a chat with our folks have to concede. Always good to see you, Walsh. Always welcome. Hopefully, if I ever get over to Scotland, I will definitely let you know that. Not that you can get to Scotland easily if you're in Wales or England, whatever, but we'll definitely have to hook up somehow, some way, sometime. It'd be awesome. Yep, Springbank 10. That's a. 7 stores still have the CR hardcore. I'm not surprised. The biggest problem with the Springbank 10 is that you get sometimes you get a hit or sometimes it's just okay. Yeah. That is where I have the issue with the 10 costing $100, but fermentation was when it's like around $300. I had it. It was good. It's a 14-year, which I know demands a little higher of a price sometimes, but it's not worth $300. I don't care what people say. I mean, I'm a huge Ardbeg fan. It's worth about 150, 160 tops, I'd say. I just don't get the whole crazy prices for some of this shit, like aftermarket. It's just insane. But so far, I'm definitely, thank God, I'm not pissed off like I was about the Ardcore with this purchase. Now, am I just going to tell you guys to run out and grab this? No. If you really like the Scorch, then I will tell you you should definitely pick a bottle up this up if you really like the Scorch. But if you were indifferent with the black and the Scorch and you don't really have anything that you've liked since Dark Cove Kelpie days enough to feel like it's, justification of a bottle, then I would say skip it. But if you love citrus flavor, if you like that white ashtray smoke level medium, and you like a 50% ABV, it's hard not to go for it. Really, it is perfect in that aspect. But you know, how many people want a white gray ashtray citrusy smoky thing? I mean, I like it, but maybe not everybody. I do like the fact that they got a nice combination of the cream with that smoke with the fruit. That part's nice, but man, 160 to 180. God bless, man. If it was still 120, I'd say jump on it. I think it's worth 120 to 130, but it's really hard to justify some of these newer prices. But I am getting old, so sounds similar, but maybe more fruit than Perpetuum. Yes, it is more fruit than Perpetuum. The Perpetuum to me was like a light version of the 10. I thought the Perpetuum was almost like a younger version of the 10 too. Like if you wanted a 5-year PD, maybe a little more lemon, then Perpetuum might be your thing. But Perpetuum was like a disaster in my opinion compared to like the Dark Hove. Night and day difference quality wise, but um this one, I think, if you were like meh on the Perpetuum, this one is definitely a step up. Now, how much of a step up? That's where you have to be careful. Cigarette ash, yeah, it does. It definitely has that white ashtray smokiness. The NO has that too. If you're familiar with the NO, and yeah, the Perpetuum had that white ash thing. Yeah, it's definitely reminiscent of what that would be to me. Maybe a little darker than straight up white ash NO Perpetuum, but not nearly as dark as Ugadal, Corey Vrecken, that kind of, and there's no, if there's white pepper in here, it's very minimal. There's no spice other than your sandalwood, cedary kind of nutmeggy cinnamon thing, but it's very subtle. It's not like a spice bomb by any means. Scorch is amazing with a strong cigar. Yeah, I mean, I think this would be good with a medium level cigar. Like, not your Ugadal Dark. I know people like myself that do. I mean, I used to smoke regularly, but now I only have a cigar on a rare occasion, or whatever. But the yeah, the this the Grooves and the Scorch. Yeah, this is, I think, along those lines, but definitely more in a creamsically orange citrusy way. Same nice smoke, same all of that, but when you look at the price and you look at what you're getting and the rarity and how hard it is and all that to grab, that's where you have to kind of look at it. I think if you could find it for 130 to 150, it's worth a pickup for the CR. Um, Hopefully you could find it for something like that, but yeah, I think they were charging like 180 where I got it even, which is, I don't know. I don't have buyer's remorse, but I'm definitely not gonna, wave a flag saying, "Hey, you run out and spend 180 on it." They definitely maxed out their price point on what is acceptable. Because if I he didn't even tell me what they were. I knew I was going to want to get these just because it's my last hurrah for collecting Ardbeg. If it was a complete downer, but this one is actually got me thankfully okay with it. Thank God it's not an Ardcore because that was horrible. Or even some of those other ones were kind of iffy. I did like that. What was that ginger snappy one they released a few right before the fermentation? Oh, what was that called? It's on par with these kind of off the wall deals. Oh wow, sold out and it was 170. Yeah, man, are they freaking just? They're really trying to milk it. Yeah, I'm in the same way. If Tom didn't call me specifically and say, "Hey, I literally have both these bottles ready for you to pick up," I would have passed. I probably wouldn't even have bothered with it. But I'm not unhappy that I went ahead and got it. It's just right at that freaking. It's right at that level where it's like, is it worth it? It's so hard to say. It's still my favorite. Yeah, it's still my favorite peated malt, but I refuse to buy their product anymore. I know I definitely cannot argue with that. The tin, Oogie, Quarry, Vrecken are all I consider for purchases. Yeah, you don't even do the NO, do you? See, the NO to me is okay because I like it better than the straight up tin because I like the mint with the white ashy versus the lemon lime smoky thing. If I like lemon lime flavor better, I would like the tin better than NO, but that's the reason why I gravitate towards the NO versus that. But straight up, Oogie and Corey definitely are the always the go-to. It's just sometimes it's nice to get like I'm hoping the Bizarre Barbecue is worth it because if I do ever see it, I might have to snag it as well as the Hypernova. Did any of you guys even bother with the Hypernova? Uh, no one has it that I could see in the U.S., but I'm not about to spend these crazy prices on what these guys want for this stuff anymore. Like Dustin was saying, it's just not worth it. But under the right circumstances, let's go to the LR and see what we get versus this one. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this drink. This is a great presentation. I love the color, even though it's light. It's real. It's uh it's a good ABV, 50 point whatever, 2, 3, 4, and you know, but 180, 170 even. 150 would be the sweet spot, I think, on this whiskey. 140 to 150, I would be happy with that. And for the LR, we'll get to the price on that in a second. I did like the last supernova, he said. Didn't see the hypernova anywhere. Isn't that weird? Still pissed I left my whole bottle in the old apartment. I would be too, man, if you had a bottle of something that you just fucking left in the apartment. What the hell? I can't knock on you too much because I've done similar shit before. But I know how you feel on that one, man. Okay. My I have a little bit of allergies, so I'm kind of trying to make sure I keep my. There we go. I can still get a good nose in there. Like it a lot. I left 3 Ardbeg CRs. That was the only one I cared about. Was that last supernova? Probably. Oh, lost a drum. Well, you're not gonna feel bad for losing that, I would think, unless I mean, it's not horrible. I didn't think the drum was horrible, but it was uh it was just a decent rum taste with Ardbeg from what I remember. It wasn't like a but when you mentioned that rum with that new Springbank, now that was a whole different story. Now that sounded intriguing, but the yeah, that Ardbeg drum was not much to get excited about. That was the first time that I was ever let down, I think. Let me think. Well, next to Perpetuum, of course, but the Perpetuum and I think that drum was the first time I ever was like, "What the hell are they thinking?" Yeah. I mean, I liked the reason I was like I didn't want to say horrible, horrible was because finally we get an Ardbeg with a rum influence to it, which I thought was intriguing, but it was so lackluster. I was just like, wow. It's almost like saying, "Hey, I've got this brand new, shiny thing, whatever hobby you love." And then when you're presented it, and you're like, "Here we go." It's like, "Oh, There are a lot of indie Vinhaven. Ooh, Steotia. I'm not sure about this one. I got to get my hands on this one. Heavily peated the tar and charred hogshead around. They are getting 7 to 8 years old now. Usually cast strength. They are excellent peat bombs for the price. I'm gonna have to get my hands on one of these because I have not had the Stauschia. I'm not sure how to say that one. I love Bunnahabhain products. I've had the Ankledoc, the Elena Green, the Krukvona, the Choychek Aha, the Kalbanak, the Moine, whatever, the Marcella. I've had so many Bunnahabhains that are so good. I have not had that special one there. I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna have to try that if I can find it. I'd bet money drum was a new make Ardbeg with rum added to it. I refuse to believe that thing was ever put in a barrel. Now I will agree with Dustin on this one because that had with the rum, it had this super green banana plantain thing that was so new make forward that I think it was like some 3 or 4 year Ardbeg thrown in with, like you said, some rum or something. I don't know. It was some screwed up stuff. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at this limited release. Let's see, where's that box at? Now this one is probably the same as far as. Let's see what they have. Sometimes the distiller does have some better notes on some of this stuff, but I'm not going to hold my breath because they depend a lot on community for their content, which sometimes is okay and sometimes it's not so good because you get a lot of incorrect stuff when you depend on your uh, clientele too much. So let's see what they say on this one. Same information as far as the made without the use of a purifier, the part that brings balance and brings the heaviest vapors in, that kind of thing. Same thing, just a lower ABV. The SRP on this is 130. I think that's what they did charge me for this, which is crazy because it literally used to be 90, $100 before for Fish Shield releases for the limited release deals like this. But gotta love inflation everywhere, I guess, huh? Let's see what old Jake thinks of it before we get into it. We already did the CR, so he's not going to really affect my palate or my notes at this point. And let's see what he says. So he says the nose is oily and meaty with furniture polish, fireplace, crispy brownies, peat, and damp earthy soil. The palate brings phenolic from smoke and diesel to the table, but also has a rich undertones of molasses and burnt caramel. The finish moves from rubber and asphalt to dark chocolate syrup and showcases notes of black pepper and licorice. Now, he's getting a shit ton of notes here, and that's a lot. Sometimes I can't get that to that degree if I'm really digging, but man, he's digging on this one, I think. But we'll see what we get. Oily and meaty. Now, on my nose, I do remember there being like a I did, comment about I was trying to figure out if it was an oily versus waxy mouth coat, Klein leash versus something else. It's definitely on the oily side, which I agreed with him there. Now, when he says meaty, I'm kind of like wondering. Now, the only meaty note that gathered out of this was like a ham, like a really maybe nice Virginia ham kind of note, but that's the extent of the meat that I could get out of this. I get what he's talking about with the furniture polish. There is this kind of a medicinal kind of a note to it, but not overly in your face, thank God. Fireplace, I mean, that's just a peat smoke. The crispy brownies and peat and damp. I understand what he's going for there. I called it more of a sugar cookie, but crispy brownie, earthy soil. I get it. Palate brings phenolics from smoke and diesel. So let's see how much smoke and diesel we get. This is all neat, by the way. I'll go back and do a water. I did not do a water with the committee, so I'll do that next. Okay. The palate is really good. Now here's the deal. Is it worth a difference of 46 to 50% ABV? I don't think it's funny. This is really good the way it is. If you get this for 130 versus 180 for a committee release, which is crazy. I mean, 40, what, 40, $50 difference. I would go with the limited and call it a day. It's got a better finish almost to it. Hold on. Wow. I'll revisit both of these to make sure, but huh. Dare I say I like the finish on the limited maybe than the committee. I might have to pour another committee to make sure I'm not losing my mind, but that was weird. Hopefully we'll see what we get here. Let me go back up. Catch up with your all's comments. You guys are awesome. That one I have to definitely take a look. Try to get that one if I can. Stousha is what the independent bottles of heavily peated boon are called. Is that like the? Is that the? Is that like the company name? Like when you see like Cadenheads or Adelphi is Stowisha, their new independent bottling that they does Buddha have it running themselves, or do you know who runs the Stousha? I'm just curious. That was one where the non-CR tasted better too. The drum, yeah, I remember that. You're right. If I remember, if yeah, yeah, I think that's true. I think that the limited release was better at a lower ABV. Hey, he's back in. Awesome, man. I'm glad you were able to come back and hang with us here. All right, I'm heading back to Scotch Dunner. No problem, man. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I'll definitely, yeah, when you guys get a chance, check out the Top Shelf Dustin's channel. He's always working with really good guys. He might be still working with Mike. I'm not sure, but always. I mean, if I step back and I think of the whiskey heads that have the best palates, have the best coverage, have the best that kind of stuff. Top Shelf Dustin's up there with the best. So I really appreciate you hanging out and come back by sometime. If I get a chance, I'll definitely throw another live stream on. So, and if I'm back in Ohio, I'll definitely have to hook you up. If I'm not doing a function thing, I'll definitely have more time. So we'll have to. I'll make sure I'll bring some whiskey with me and maybe do a surprise visit sometime. Do you have an Ardbeg tin to compare? I don't. But here's the thing, I am not the biggest fan of the straight Ardbeg 10. I'm more of an NO guy because of the lemon lime thing. Um, if you're talking about fruit flavor like strength, this has that same power. The difference with this is instead of lemon lime, they're using orange, like a lemon, and something else. Hold on. Dare I say a cherry, like a lighter, not a dark black cherry, but like a light cherry flavor maybe. I mean, you don't get as much on the palate per se, but the nose, I'm getting more of several fruits instead of just a straightforward lemon lime thing, which I think is what makes this stand out a bit more. And the creamy ice cream that you get with it that gives you that creamsicle vibe, that to me makes a ding. Yeah, it's got a ham note to this particular dram. That's the only meaty thing I could find in it. There's no beef, there's no pork, there's no, you know, chicken. There's none of that stuff. This is straight up ham, definitely. So I'm glad I'm detecting the right note on that one. That's the first note I got. Oh, Stocia is like Longrow for spring break. Okay, cool. I'll keep an eye on the Stoisha then. That is something I've heard about, but I've never tried before. And I love Long Row, Springbank, Hazelburn, the whole 9 yards. So I'm with you guys. It's limited like 100,000 was limited. What does limited mean? I recently bought a Emmerich, which was limited to 70 bottles. Now that's limited. 100,000 bottles is not limited. I don't care what anybody says. To me, when you get to a limited bottling, this is just me. I'm not an expert or, I, what I say is not gospel by any means, but if someone tells me something is limited, I would honestly think that you have to be below 5,000 bottles. If you have more than 5,000 bottles of something, how could it be limited? It makes no sense. So that's just my take. If I'm thinking limited, I'm thinking 5,000 or less. Do you think that's a reasonable adjustment? Now, I know Springbank does they do some 30,000, that kind of thing sometimes, but see, I would just not, I wouldn't consider that limited because you have 30,000 opportunities, even though it's a niche market. That's a lot of opportunities in our niche market to get that, you know, to get that deal. So I'm thinking that, I don't know. It's just what all independent bars call Bunnahabhain. It's called Stoller ones Moine, yeah. So they don't use the indies, use that name. Centauri has and others too. Cool. Independently bottled peated Bunnahabhain. That's cool that they came up with that because that's definitely new. They did not have. They had the Moine for the longest time for peated Bunnahabhain, but it was their own distillery version. So I guess to distinguish Moine distillery peated Bunnahabhains from Independence, that's where they probably came up with the Stausia. Is that how you pronounce Stausia? Am I doing that correctly? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Roy, if you're out there, Aquavite. Calling Aquavite. I wish I had my Morse code thing ready. I could call him over the air. It'd be like, Aquavite, tell me how to pronounce this Stausia. I'm guessing Stausia. I'm guessing at that, but it's probably correct. But it's tough with the Scottish Gaelic. Some of the combinations on the lettering is interesting. We'll just put it that way. All right, let's go back to the limited here. All right, let's go back and forth. I'm going to pour another CR version and go back with it and see what we get comparatively here, because I really am wondering if the finish on the limited might be better. Dare I say? Let's make sure before we say that, though. Okay, so I got my committee here, my limited here, and I am making sure. Okay, as limited again. Now, let's step up, do back to the committee. Only 4% ABV difference. I mean, in one mind, it doesn't sound like it's a lot, but when you taste a 40 versus 43% ABV, don't you notice a huge difference? I do. Even when you go from 46 to 48, do you notice a difference? I do. And when you go from 48 to 50, do you notice a difference? Subtly, maybe. It's 46 to 50 is a much bigger detectable difference though than 48 to 50, but it's definitely enough. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Man. Oh, they're. Oh, this is so tough, guys. This is so tough. It's a good problem to have. It's like I'm trying to determine a 46% Ardbeg, heavy vapors from a 50% Ardbeg heavy vapors. It's like there's differences. Is it worth the difference though? That's where the question lies. All right, man, that palette's really good on that CR. Let me go back to this limited and tell you, this is really it's a tough one. What are you guys drinking today, by the way? Let me know what you guys are sipping on and what you think. Feel free to put it in the channel too, while I'm kind of going back and forth with this. Huh. It's so funny. I was thinking to myself, well, did they make a mistake not going with that Ugadal Quaverkan kind of smoke with these flavors? And I'm like, at first I was like, I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I was taken back by the type of smoke that they were doing. But now that I'm thinking about it, and after trying it, the finish is getting to a cola-esque type of vibe on one of these. Let me see which one it is. That was limited. Hey, great seeing you too, Steven. Man, it's been a while. Always good to hear from you, man. Hopefully you're doing well there in Tennessee. I like a lot of you, I stepped away from the Ardbeg collecting after, especially after the Ardcore debacle. I thought that was a bit much. Um, my boy I shouldn't say my boy, my guy in Maryland that finds stuff for me. He found these heavy vapors, the CR and the LR, and I'm like, and what the hell, I'll try it. It's like it's their last chance. If they don't at least get me to a 3.5, 4 star level, like the art core was like a barely a 3. I mean, that was barely a 3. That was like that was scratching. That was like begging for but this one is a bit better, but I'm thinking the Scorch level. If you're not a fan of the Scorch, Steven, which I don't think you were, you're probably not going to be as. I mean, is it better than a black? Now that's tough because I know you guys were not fans of the black back in the day. It's hard to. I don't even want to equate it to that. 'Cause to me, the standout for the black was those Pinot Noir casks they used. Those were so good, but are the casks for this as good as those with the whiskey? And that's where I'm kind of like, I would definitely, I would think I would pass on the CR and get the LR this time, just to have a taste of it. Because the reason why I say that is because the 4% difference on ABV is not that drastic. And let me try the finish again. Go back to the LR and see what we get finish wise in a second. It honestly is not different enough to justify the 50 dollar difference because you can get the LR for 130, and to me that's even high, to be honest with you. 110, 120 max should be the price for it, but and 180 for the CR, I'm like, I mean it's good, but it's not worth it, the price difference. So I'm here to tell you guys, if you're going to try the new Ardbeg, I would go for the CR first, definitely. I don't think you're missing much on the CR versus LR. And dare I say, let me have another palate cleanser before I even go this route. Okay, cleanse the palate. Let's go back to the LR. If the finish is as good as I thought it was the first, second, third time I went back to it, I would go for the limited release, which is cheaper anyway. But you have to like that white ashtray, gray ashtray note that you get sometimes from Ardbeg. That's not, I'm not talking the Ugadal or the Koreavican peat smoke. We're talking like the NO slash 10 slash um what else do they have that has this kind of taste? I don't know if they really have anything else that has this kind of vibe to it. The real white, gray, ashy kind of smokiness to it, but it's not bad. It's just not a Corey Vrecken or a Ugadal. But if you like citrus flavor, if you like oranges, limes, I'm sorry, oranges, lemons, and like cherry with your white ashy peat smoke, you're gonna love it. No, that's the catch. Ooh, pours for a blind testing if you guys are up for it. I'm always up for a good blind test. If you guys want to do one, I will definitely try to hook you guys up. Mike's been a bit tough to work with lately. Been really busy, but we'll get straightened out. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys want to do any blinds, definitely let me know. I'll be happy to send you guys whatever I can, and give me a theme, and I'll definitely take you up on it there. Just taking a sip of Benromic's Contrast Peat Smoke, and that is a cherry peaty dram. I love that old school space side style. So different than our spade perception. Yeah. Huh. Benromic Contrast Peat Smoke. Is that the same as the old school Imperial proof? I wonder. Let me look at something. Benromic Peat Smoke. I've heard of that one. I know they have a cast strength, which is probably the one I'm thinking of. But I have had the peat smoke version, and I did like it from Benromic. It's not easy to find these guys though, Benromic over. The only one that's really easy to find from Benromic is the 10 and the 15. I can find those two all day. The other ones, not so much. Let me see if. Oh, they want to know my age. Yes, I'm legally drinking age. I hope. Tours and tasting, 3 double gold medals. Okay. It's funny how these Scotch, you know, distillery websites, they have all this money to do marketing, but the way they present it is so rough. Yeah, cast strength vintage. That's what I'm looking for. That's the one that used to be called the Imperial Proof. So if you ever see the cast strength vintage Benromic, I would definitely jump all over. 60.2% first fill sherry and bourbon cask at cast strength. Really well done. Now, I am seeing contrast the organic and contrast peat smoke. That's the one that he was referring to. It's at 46% ABV, first fill bourbon barrels for the peat smoke. Yeah, if you're a guy that appreciates a straightforward peat with your dram, I would definitely recommend that one because that is pretty good. Um, but for my personal flavor and everything, I definitely gravitate towards the that cast strength vintage. That is so damn good. But I want to try the peat smoked sherry cast mature at 46. I didn't know that they had one of those. And they have a Cara Gold Malt at 46 first fill bourbon. Wow. They have a lot of more offerings at Benromic than I realized. That's awesome. A single cast from 2010 too. Wow. I'll have to keep my eye out on some of these guys. That sounds pretty good, I have to say. Okay. Well, yeah, if you guys have like a special grouping of things, let me know, and I'll be happy to try to pick some stuff up on the side for trading and whatnot. And I can spend some money now, so it shouldn't be an issue depending on the cost to a degree. So let me know if you guys are up for something. I would definitely be up for trying it out. But yeah, I mean, I had a great time with you guys. I appreciate you stopping by, and I'm gonna say I would. I'm probably going to stop collecting a lot of these off the wall Ardbegs, but if you're looking for a new Ardbeg and you don't want to spend as much on it to get it, I would go for the LR version of the Heavy Vapors. Skip the CR, save your money, and you still get a decent dram and decent taste for what it is. I'd say at this point. I'm glad it's better than Ardcore for sure. I will say that. How much better? It's a good letter grade difference. Like if I gave the Ardcore a D or C overall, then I would definitely bump the Heavy Vapors up to a B. That type of thing. So it's above average, but not crazy above average. I would definitely spend the 120, 130 maybe for the LR, skip the CR, and if you like the LR and have an option to taste the CR, I would definitely not pass it up. But I would not, spend $180 to $200 or even secondary market prices for the CR heavy vapors, but the LR, different story. I think it is worth the 1 to 130, and hope you guys are able to find it. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. And like I said, if you guys want to do a tasting or something, let me know in email. It's telex at outlook.com. That's TELEX at outlook.com. And I'll pick whatever on the side and hopefully able to join you guys that way. If not, then I do, try to travel around for my Parks in the Air thing on the side. And if I'm in your area, let me know and I'll try to bring some scotch with me at the same time. You never know. It's parksontheair.com on the side. Whiskey 3 Alpha Alpha X-ray, as you can see up top of my head over there. That's my old call. Is KC3BRW is my old call, but my newer call 10 years ago, W3AX. So hope to see you guys in the air or in the flesh on whiskey. Just having fun and Salanchava. Thanks for stopping by.